Hello, everybody. I don't remember when the last time I've even done a channel update, and there has been quite a lot of drama on Reddit recently, and I thought some of you obviously came from there because people were rushing to find my socials in case my Reddit account gets taken down. Um, a lot of you have nothing to do with Reddit, but why not invite you into the popcorn? So I thought I'm gonna do one video where I talk about how's my life going, what am I planning for YouTube, and of course Reddit drama, and as well, drama is popcorn time and drama's kind of interesting. I thought maybe we shall, you know, start from the drama specifically. So, a couple of days ago, I have made this post. I moderate three subreddits: Demonolatry Practices, Our Demons, and Our Black Magic. I am not the only moderator in any of those. And I kind of thought that something similar might happen, so I actually discussed with my co-mods ahead of time. It exploded in a way well, at least I haven't expected it to explode, but at the same time, I was putting these contingencies in place. I promoted my second mod in our demonolatry practices in order to be able to invite other people to mod in case my account disappears. I discussed this with our black magic mod. I discussed this with the whole group of mods and our demons, and they agreed to moderate against any kind of hate or anything like that, just in case what I was doing was gonna blow up in my face, because it was a nice thing, but it was a nice thing that's sitting on a barrel of dynamite that could have exploded at any point, and it kind of exploded. So a couple days ago, I had to make this post. Thankfully, it seems that there wasn't enough things to report for the people going after my account, so I think I'm actually fine. But just in case, I made a post. Possible changes in moderation soon. I have been on the receiving end of fraudulent mass reports recently for taking out the time to do a good thing. I helped the community get unlocked again, and for it, I might lose this account. Ironically, the reports are coming from the same community that I helped. I suppose sometimes sinking ships should remain sunk. Because of the sheer amount of warnings over warnings that I had pop up from Reddit today, I want to preemptively warn you all in case I can no longer log in. As this was my primary place for hosting books, it still exists, by the way. If you need demonolatry books for free, just find my Reddit account, and I have this page saying what I sell and what I don't sell. Every single thing that I ever wrote is available for free on Reddit. That's the place that I host it. And even if my Reddit account went down, my Google Drive links would still be up. It's just that the post that hosts the Google Drive links is on Reddit. Therefore, if my Reddit post goes down, unless you know the Google Drive link, you're gonna have trouble finding it. Of course, it's still gonna be available on Amazon and all of that, but it would be harder for you to get to the free resources that I host there. But for the moment, my account's still fine, so don't worry about that. But if you need free resources for spiritual bullshit, that's where you would go, and back up the link, or even better, back up the PDFs that you want yourself, because honestly, you never know what happens in life. If something did happen to me, or if something happened to Google Drive, those links would probably no longer exist after a while. After all, the internet isn't entirely permanent, so if something is important for you, grab that, download it, put it away somewhere where you can access it at any point, Or if you really, really want to give me money, buy a paperback, because paperbacks survive for longer than digital files. Anyway, if this was your primary place for reaching me, keep in mind that contact may entirely cease. In case that it does happen, I'm going to take it as a sign to invest my time into something more productive. It was a pleasure knowing you all and being here. Now, I have heard that even if I got a permanent ban, there is ways of overturning it, and I have friends that would have actually helped me do that, and they messaged me saying that they would have sent in a letter on my account if I allowed them to do so. It is just that that statement was there because there are things that people do that have been permanently banned from Reddit, such as running a VPN and creating a new account. It's honestly too many hoops. The moderation that I do on Reddit is unpaid. So technically, considering my position in life as well, but that's something that we're gonna talk about later. It is a time waste, but it is a voluntary time waste. It is a voluntary time waste that I like investing time into. Therefore, I am willing to let it go. If Reddit gods dictate, so be it. I'm not gonna try to jump through hoops if that happens. It's not that important. But if I don't need to let it go, I'm not gonna let it go. Hopefully it does not come to that, but if it does, every subreddit that I moderate has other people that too can re-recruit and continue going. If it does come to that, I wanted the information about it to come from me directly rather than rooted from someone else, so I'm writing this in advance just in case. I know Witchcraft mods, and I know that their head mod, he was permabanned 8 times before it was actually a permanent ban, and my co-mod for Black Magic has been temporarily banned once. Getting a message out when, like, you only have those people as, like, contacts on Reddit is a pain in the butt. Like, she got an extra other mod to, like, inform me through other means. And she also, like, sent me an email, I believe. But, like, if you don't have a way to reach anybody, you're just like, well, my account's dead, and I can't even tell these people that my account's dead, and I can't, like, even contact them as to how to reach me on other social media. So it just really sucks when that happens. So just in case, with this situation being as much in the shitter as it was on the weekend, I wrote that post out, I posted it, and I reposted it on every subreddit that I had, just so that people know, just so that it's coming from me. Just that if I disappear, it's clear why and where and what happened to my account. Edit. If this account survives a week, it will likely be in the clear. The reason why I did type this out is because my inbox at the moment is flooded with red Reddit admin messages, and they just keep on coming. Warnings are likely to turn into suspensions, and permanent suspension can be slapped before I might even get back into it. As such, the time to type the message out is now. Second edit, I'm going to step away from my electronic devices now. Remember, full-on chance that I'll sail through this fine enough. This is just in case I won't. I might still be here next week or next month, but receiving many little warning messages from Reddit admins right now is kind of scary and making me believe that I won't. So, what happened? I'm gonna be censoring a whole bunch of things. These people are fucking assholes, but if I accidentally sent a YouTube mob after them, like, my videos aren't that well viewed, but, like, if by some weird accident, like, this video just, like, explodes in popularity and I don't know, gets like 10k views, and like 100 people decides to try and hunt them down, that's not gonna help me at all. That's gonna make my life worse because they'll know where it came from. And my Reddits would come under firing line and they would be like, well, technically you were doing brigading, that is against the rules, yada 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 yada. So the Reddit name is censored. If you're gonna do enough internet sleuthing, you're gonna find these people and you're gonna find this subreddit. You can see my account name. You don't need to do that much internet sleuthing to find it. I'm now gonna ask you to not go there and not harass those people. If anything, just like warn any passerbys to like avoid that place like a plague. It is not a good place. You should not touch it. So what happened a while ago is that that community in particular brigaded one of my subreddits, Black Magic, but they also brigaded witchcraft and our occult by like going, all of these are like really awful communities. Um, they don't like us, like they hate us, they don't support us the way that we need to be supported. And like, if you're gonna go there, then like go there with bad intentions or don't go there at all. You can't actually like make those kind of posts on Reddit. Um, it's brigading. It is against like higher Reddit rules together with harassment. But we're gonna come to that, and like report abuse. That's also something that we're gonna get to. Um, the person that was doing it was not a moderator of the subreddit, but the moderators of the subreddit were entirely absent. So what happened is that their post got reported for brigading. I even left a comment going like, what the fuck are you doing? You're gonna shut down your subreddit. You're gonna shut down the subreddit that you're posting on, and you're probably gonna shut down your own account. Lo and behold, a couple of days later, their subreddit is locked. For one thing, they kind of bit off more than they could chew. They mentioned quite a lot of fairly big communities. Moderators got concerned. Of course, they tried going through the right channels, going, hey, this post is brigading, it's on your community. Could you like take it down? And the moderators did not respond because they were completely inactive. So Reddit admins stepped in. They suspended permanently the person's account that was doing this, and they locked the subreddit. And some of us involved, we felt bad because the subreddit that was locked was the only and biggest public subreddit for what they do. And what they do is like a very specific spiritual practice. It is not something that I practice. It is not something that other people practice that felt bad about it. But this is the kind of space that you think should probably be preserved. After that, I realized that it wasn't just like one bad apple in a barrel, it was the whole barrel that was rotten. But Murta did the requesting a while ago, did not know this. So before me, a different guy tried to request, but he accidentally linked the sent message to the current present moderators, just to like Reddit tells you to do this to make sure that moderators are inactive. So if you're requesting a subreddit that already has moderation that just got locked because the moderators are inactive, the process is you have to state on Reddit request what subreddit you're requesting, and in the comments section, you're gonna show a link to the message that you have messaged the current mods going, hey guys, you are inactive. Can I take over the subreddit? And B, you have to say what you're gonna be doing with the subreddit. So that guy, he went off and did that, but he linked the message to the moderators wrong. Like he accidentally like linked his own inbox instead of linking to that specific message. So 6 days passed. He was not granted his request because he requested it wrong. So I was like, okay, he can't request it again, at least not for a long while. Nobody else is gonna do this. If the community remains locked, chances are it's gonna get deleted in a couple of months. That's not good. So I went ahead, I did all of that pre-preparation. I promoted one of my other mods to make sure that he can re-recruit if something happens to my account, because this niche spirituality, they were already dicks. Like, they were brigading people before this point, so I didn't know what kind of response I was gonna get, whether or not this was gonna blow up in my face. I thought it might be worth it trying to do a nice thing. So I did all of that pre-prep. I informed the one moderators group that there's quite a few moderators there, so that subreddit's gonna be fine, what I'm doing. I promoted the other mod that was co-modding demonology practices with me because our other mods are inactive, so we didn't want to kick them because it's life reasons why they're inactive. So I just kind of dragged them down, and I gave the other mod full permissions to re-recruit if something happens to me. I warned the Black Magic moderator what is happening, what I'm doing. So the preparations in case this blows up in my face were set up back then when I did that request. The request was granted. So I get the community, and as I said, I'm gonna clean it up a little bit. I'm gonna find people that would qualify. You can actually kind of guess what the subreddit is from the message over here. But then again, you can do some sleuthing, so you just don't go on don't go harassing them. People, you can kind of see what kind of spiritual practice it is. It's fine. What I said I wanted to do was to go in, clean up the place from obvious racism and like poopy fights. Like legitimately, there were posts completely unrelated to the subreddit just going, I am sorry, username this or this, or I hate this user in particular, or look at this tweet, let's go and like hate this person on Twitter. Like it absolutely had nothing to do with why the subreddit was set up. And interestingly enough, the subreddit itself had entirely completely different rules on old Reddit versus new Reddit, suggesting that when the subreddit was created, it wasn't this awful, but at some point somebody else took it over and made it awful. So I said I was gonna take this subreddit, I'm gonna clean it up, and I'm gonna find it new mods, hand over the keys, and I'm gone. Did not expect this to go that badly. So this is my post. By the way, the new mods deleted it in a couple of hours after I left. They didn't want my, participation to even be seen. So my only post and my only contribution to that subreddit was new mods needed. A few weeks ago, there has been some major drama in this community by a user outright breaking the rules of Reddit itself by attempting to brigade several communities from here. Moderation was absent enough that nothing was done, and as such, admin stepped in, permanently banned that user off the platform, and locked this community. No one cared enough to try and save the largest public subreddit for Hoodoo, Conjure, or Root work. See, you can kind of tell what spiritualities it was about. You can't really guess the name of the subreddit of this alone, but it gives you a direction. So once again, guys, don't go there. Don't harass them. If anything, if you're gonna find which subreddit it is, don't say it in the comments. But if you have friends, you can warn them not to go there no matter what. And as such, it remained locked. I am not a practitioner, but shutting down the largest community of this kind on Reddit seemed beyond bad. So I put in a request and Reddit granted it. As of today, the community is open once more. What was shocking is that there have been reports hanging here from 5 years ago. This means that previous moderators did not give a shite. That's beyond shameful. As such, currently I'm intending to refocus the community onto its spiritual purpose. This is not the place for fling shit and devolve into endless drama. That's precisely what will be moderated. However, I have enough on my plate as it is, and I would like to transition this Reddit into the hands of hopefully several people that will care enough to actually take care of it. If you think that you're such a person, post your application in the comments down below. Before you post your application, by posting here, you automatically agree to A, be active, most important part. Your Reddit activity up to this point will be judged in the sense that I expect you to have an activity. Handing over a subreddit to someone that will stop logging on 2 weeks from now is not what I want to do. B, follow all subreddit rules. The community got locked for brigading. You agree to take care of such things before Reddit admins need to step in and lock the community once more. Once again, giving this to someone only for the community to disappear in a couple of weeks is a waste. C, agree to the current moderation direction of moderating shit flinging. There were posts here directly calling out a specific user on the subreddit in particular, like this place is people's personal battleground. Race wars with serious insults going both ways seems like a popular way of passing the time. None of this makes a useful or productive community. It's honestly like really shocking to look at it, because that is some people ugliness like on display. Now, to post your application, answer these 3 questions in a comment and number them. What is your experience with Conjure, Rootwork, or Hoodoo? I obviously don't belong here. Spiritual community should be taken care of by people of the correct spirituality. For one thing, you likely will be answering other people's comments, not only moderating, so it helps if you know how to answer them from personal experience. What qualifies you to moderate this community? I was very active in this community already is a valid answer, so as I have been moderating other communities and they're running smoothly. I don't need your resume, I just need a reason to see you as a right fit. What changes do you want to enact in this community? None is a valid answer. However, when there are enough comments here to make a selection, I will be selecting a couple of mods, at least 2, ideally 3, to reduce the risk of the community becoming unmodded because a person has gone inactive. As such, I want to make sure that the vision for the subreddit does not pull the moderating team apart through endless infighting, hence the question. As I've been moderating other communities for several years now, a couple of things to note before applying. 1. Moderating a subreddit is entirely unpaid. You effectively are telling the world that you're fine spending several hours a day online doing work without getting anything for it. You'll feel this the least if you're already spending too many hours scrolling through Reddit on the side, so being active on the platform helps, but keep that in mind. This is nearly a job, except you're doing it for free. 2. You will likely run into some very assholey people. I don't know a single Reddit mod that didn't eventually encounter an account with too much time on their hands that has resorted to death threats, harassment, sending inappropriate pictures or messages, following you around on other platforms to continue trying to provoke you, or making multiple new accounts just to continue to be able to post insults towards you on your subreddit. Normally these people get bored, so it means that you'll have to more work on your hands for a couple of days playing whack-a-mole with a singular user. Sometimes you might actually need to contact the real world police. That happened to me once. Be prepared for that so that eventually when you do run into a user like that, it doesn't take you by surprise. I have a feeling that they perceive me as a user like that, but they have done me dirty, and I am trying my damnedest to protect these people's identities. One thing that I don't want to do is to have to sit and stew in my own shit without being able to tell people anyone. So I made that very vague post on my subreddits. I do know that these people noticed it because the post and the comments got reported, by the way, and that was report abuse. I don't know whose account I got suspended, but I got somebody suspended for that. So I do know that they noticed. I do know that they didn't like the fact that I made that post, but if you can see, that post that I made was pretty vague. I read it at the very start. It is not like I posted something really, really awful. And when I'm talking about this on my personal YouTube, because god damn it, I really don't want to have to stay silent, because this was some real shit. It definitely impacted my migraine this week. It was already brewing because of hormones. I am having tinnitus in one of my ears quite constantly for like the past 2 days, and that was definitely stress induced. I can't do anything about it. It does have me concerned. I don't like having tinnitus. I don't like hearing my own blood flow in my own brain. That tends to be a fairly bad sign. That will probably sort itself, but stress is not something that I can take easily, and this situation has been plenty stressful. So I feel like I have a right to talk about it, especially considering that I'm protecting everyone's identities, I am protecting their subreddit name, I am not disclosing any of that shit. This drama is as like stripped off from identity as I could make it. But anyways, moving on. You'll be wearing your PR face as much as possible. Getting provoked or getting into arguments is very unhealthy for your community because people rate you and your community practically the same. This can really wear on your mental health, hence why it is beneficial to have either customer-facing or online moderation experience. I'll feel better if I know that this won't make your real life worse, so if it worst comes to worst, always know that you, the real you, comes first. It is better to give away a community or just telling your other mods that you need time for yourself and stepping away from social media to rest than it is to do something to yourself over some anonymous stink face. I have only ruined my mental health in like personal harm once. And it wasn't from a Reddit, it was from a family member, a close family member. That situation really, really hurt. I had to end all contact with them. I don't know if they investigate my social media or not, but I have not been on speaking terms with them for like a year. This is a story that, let's say I already shared to someone anonymously because I really, really, really needed to talk about it, but I don't want to put it anywhere in public. It's a hurtful story. It's a pretty bad story. My relationship with that family member, even though they're very, very close blood relation, has been pretty awful. But random shitholes online don't affect me like that. That's why I even like kept my Reddits. But if it did, I honestly wouldn't really be interacting on social media the way that I am interacting. Because if your mental health is being affected to a point where you're considering or performing self-harm, and considering taking yourself out, Jesus Christ, there's not a singular website worth that. Not a singular what. I don't care if it's your YouTube, your Twitch, your Twitter, your Reddit, your Facebook, whatever. If you're getting pushed by a mob of nobodies that badly, switch off your phone, switch off, delete that account, rip that part of your life away. You don't need that. It shouldn't be doing that to you. So if there's any chance that a subreddit moderation could do that to you, do not take it. And that is it. I'm not planning to just hand over the community to the first person that posts, because that wouldn't be me vetting that the person is actually right to moderate this community. But I'm hoping to be able to pass it on to appropriate people involved in Rootwork, Conjure, or Hoodoo fairly soon. As the sooner people post here, the sooner I can go back to moderating the subreddits of the practices that I'm familiar and comfortable with. In the meantime, if you see something bad, don't hesitate to report, and if something specific that you want to say is pressing on your mind, feel free to shoot me a mod mail. The people that I handed it over, on paper they looked clean. Later I found out that they were in contact through private communities with the people that started this whole drama to begin with, but the Reddit accounts looked perfectly normal. Their posts looked perfectly normal. So I was like, okay, let me just invite 3 of these people into moderation. The rest of community seems to vet them as good people. I'm just gonna like set up a private chat for them, teach them how to do a couple of things, say goodbye, hand over my keys and go. And that's what I did. And I felt pretty good at that point when I did it. I was like, well, that is done. It went surprisingly smoothly. It didn't, but I didn't know that yet. And that chat between like the 3 moderators that were there that I set up, where I was like, okay, so this is like how you ban people if you need to ban people. This is like how you look at, this is where your moderation queue is. Like, these are where all the tools are. If you ever like need or me or for anything or have questions, you can personally message me. Those chat messages got reported for harassment. Well, that's jumping ahead of things, and automatic Reddit moderation is not very nice. They say that it's manual, but I can't actually believe that it's manual. So I hand over the keys. I go, yep, that went well. And I went out for a walk. I come back from a walk. You have been permanently banned from participating in, because you broke this community's rules, no rules cited. You won't be able to post or comment, but you can still view and subscribe to it. If you have a question regarding your ban, you can contact the moderator team by replying to this message. Immediately after, you have been temporarily muted from. You will not be able to message the moderators for 3 days, and I think it was only 3 days and not permanent, because the person that banned and muted me was new to moderation. So I took a look at their subreddit, and the person that has been doing the brigading had a new account, and they were invited back. The person that was backing up the person doing the brigading were invited to moderate, and the old moderators were back. That suggests that they weren't inactive in the first place, they just didn't want to do anything about it. A lot of the shit-flinging posts that were really insulting towards like specific people of like, hey, let's go and like, you know, let's insult this person on this platform, let's attack this person on this platform, this is like a targeted harassed messenger against this one specific person. All of these were back because they restored it. That made me mad, but you know, what can you do? That's done. I tried my best. Obviously, maybe I shouldn't have. Obviously, the community's full of shit. I'm just gonna walk away now. And then, all of the warnings and reports started coming in. Your account has been given a warning. Reddit is a vast network of communities that are created, run, and populated by people like you. In order to keep communities welcoming, safe, and great places to be, everyone who uses this platform operates by a shared set of rules, a set of rules you may not have realized you broke. Warning for harassment. And that just kept on popping up. They were reporting the messages where I was like, this is how you do this is how you do that, this is how you do that. And they also even reported the message because I messaged their like main moderator to go, hey, the person that you invited to moderate your community was the person brigading it in the first place. Like, they are the reason why your community was locked. Like that, all of those messages got reported for harassment. There wasn't a singular angry word, there wasn't a singular insult. All of them got flagged for harassment. And all of these flags, they came through as being moderated against to my inbox at the same time. And I was like, holy shit, if they're following my account around, or if they just have enough chat messages on their own, they can actually shut down my friggin' account. Why did I do a good thing? Why did I bother doing a good thing? Probably because this level of fuck shittery hasn't even occurred to me. But obviously, it has occurred to somebody there. So yeah. Cue the post. Somebody wanted an explanation as to what the hell happened. So I typed it out, once again trying to protect everybody's identities, trying to keep it all nice and smooth and safe and make sure that my community doesn't brigade theirs. So I answered why this shit is happening. The people are seeking, probably, to remove me from Reddit. A couple weeks ago there was a brigading event. Multiple Reddits worked together with admin in order to stop the brigade from continuing going. In the process, unfortunately, a community without active moderation got locked as they were the base where the brigading took place from. There's empathy there. Also, a different subreddit moderator tried getting involved by getting the community back and then passing it on. They failed as Reddit chose not to grant them the community, so I put my account on the line, doing what they wanted to do. I successfully set up a moderation team, willing people from the community in question that seemed that like they wanted to do good. The moment they left, I was permanently banned. The brigading members' newly made account invited the moderation and many other involved accounts right after, including the inactive mods that were not there to do anything during the brigading, but obviously accepted an invitation right now, meaning that they were active. They just didn't want to do anything. And every single message that I sent trying to set up the chat for them and talking about permissions and what does this mean and what does that mean, etc. is right now getting mass flagged for harassment of all things. As the community is theirs, and I left the chats in good faith. I actually left the chat. So I couldn't even go back and delete my messages or whatever, because I was like, I set this all up for you. I am gone. That is it. This is yours. You do whatever you want with it. Bye. If you need any more help, you don't know what a specific button does, you can always message me. I was trying to be friendly. I cannot even delete my contribution. I can merely appeal, and appeals can take up to 6 months to even get looked at. Appeals actually took like 4 days to look at, and the Reddit was like, nah, we're not removing the warnings. Who the fuck looked at that appeal? Or rather, those appeals. No way was somebody doing their job. And if you can see, that message alone immediately got reported as it's targeted harassment at someone else. Honey, where? No names are mentioned, not a community name is mentioned, nothing. I made this post as clean as possible so that I'm making sure to not like be attacking that community, to make sure that I'm not attacking any individual from that community. And they know who has like spite for me. The person that did the brigading has spite for me to begin with, because obviously we shut down their main account for brigading people. And they were doing that a lot before like the whole subreddit thing even happened, because like I told you, that community was shooting shit at like random people on like Twitter and shit. But they weren't on Reddit, they weren't gonna fight for themselves, and it was like one voice. It wasn't like they attacked 3 giant communities at the same time, which is what they did currently. So obviously they got a lot more reports, and Reddit took a look at it, and that community was like permanently, like that person was permanently suspended while that community got locked because the moderation did nothing. And that wasn't the only comment flagged. Like, Murta, your presence will be deeply missed if you leave. Thank you for dedicating your time and making valuable contributions to our community. Report for harassment. Hopefully it blows over. You certainly will be missed here. Thank you for all your contributions and all your wise words. And make sure to subscribe to your YouTube no matter what. I hope you can continue to make contributions to our community in general. Thank you, Effective Promise. They have been nothing but supportive. They're a very sweet person. This is why I'm not hiding their names. They're all very sweet people. And thanks for the books. They've all been helpful. Violent Spooter said, I'm a little bit in shock that this is even a thing others would do. So am I, by the way. I hope you won't get perma-banned, but if you do, I want to say thank you. You were there answering my silly beginner questions years ago and helped me so much with starting this practice. You took so much time and effort to help so many, and were a huge part of why this subreddit is so great and the best occult space there is. You are a treasure. All of these comments reported for harassment. If you report a comment for general Reddit rules, and not just the subreddit rules, it goes above the subreddit moderation, which means that even if the moderator approves it, something from like admins of Reddit still need to like look at these comments. So I had to like, to report abuse is actually kind of difficult, because you have to go to a specific page, you have to like paste a link to the comment, and you have to explain what the heck's happening there. And you have to like do this for every single comment. And they went through the whole thread and they flagged everything as harassment. Whoever this person is, what the fuck? But anyway, Reddit started responding to me and they were like, yeah, that was a violation. That was abuse of report button. So some account has gotten probably permanently banned for doing this shit. But considering that the person that is running that community now is an alt of the person that was doing brigading, because they're using a VPN to go around like the full account ban, I think they were probably using an alt in here as well. So this did nothing. All that I know is that I have some sort of crazy stalker that hopefully got bored. Because honestly, what else can I say, and what else can I hope for? That they're just gonna get bored and that they're gonna leave me the fuck alone, because what the heck? That is just a barrel of god-awful, rotten people. Don't look up Rootwork, Conjure, or Hoodoo on Reddit. There's not a single good community for those. If you are like a legitimate practitioner, avoid internet drama entirely. Just continue practicing by yourself with your own like community that is like physical and surrounding you, because these people are fucking awful. Don't seek out those spaces. can't recommend. It's just the greatest way to get disappointed and completely lose faith in humanity. That is the only thing that I can say. So after all that, by the way, they popped in and they posted discussing recent events. By the way, if you ever slight me, I'm really good at social media stalking until I get bored. Just so you know, I don't tend to like say anything. But even if like you ban me my main account, I'm still gonna like report your violations. If there's like something that you did that was rightfully wrong and isn't just my spite, I will report it. I can see it. You're not just deleting me from existence, so I can read this. Not using my main account, and I'm not gonna say the account that I'm using for, you know, all of this, because it is a One Karma account that has no posts and no comments, and I'm gonna keep it that way. It is literally just there if people ban me in order to say something really, really awful, so then I can switch to that account and I can report something that's really, really awful and gets Reddit's rules. That's how I use that account. This post is not report worthy, it's just that I was actually able to read it. So, good morning, afternoon, everyone. I know we have unfortunately lost a lot of people who used to reside in the server, so for the sake of regulars and the newbies, I'll give introductions. My name is... I'm a 23-year-old root worker and Kemetic worshipper who has been working with the Divine for the last 8 years, and within the ATR realm for the last 6 years. And prior to the last month or so, I was the only individual moderating this subreddit. The previous owner has been gone for some time. I pray he's well. And recently I had a disappearance of my own. I don't know how recent that disappearance was, honey, but you haven't done any moderation for like the last 5 years. So that wasn't a small disappearance. This whole like brigading drama lasted weeks. You had like weeks to take action. It wasn't a small disappearance. I was gone for almost a month, and the unbelievable happened. The server was attacked, shut down, and taken over by those who do not believe in respected close practices. You mean a person got rightfully punished for brigading? There was nobody to do anything about it on your side. You weren't there. You were absent. But now you're not. Now suddenly you're not. And it's all hunky-dory. And some random person took the time to step in, unlock your community prior to it getting deleted, and pass it on like several days. Because I was trying to pass on that hot potato as fast as I fucking could. I didn't want to hold it. I wasn't trying to invade it. So what the actual fuck? Anyway, firstly I want to thank all the people who stepped up and did what was necessary to make the sub a safe space again. Thank you. You mean try and like close a whole ass account that has nothing to do with you through false reports? Is that what you mean? That makes it a very safe space, yeah. And everyone else who helped. We wouldn't be here without y'all, and my gratitude is through the roof. When I could not be here due to family and personal circumstances, they were saved this server. I'm so grateful for every contribution to know now that I have the knowledge and kind team working not only to make the sub a safe space, but others as well. Yeah, the same people that fucking shut it down to begin with, you piece of shit. The aesthetic contribution to the server also hasn't been missed, and I'm loving the new flares. Secondly, I want to let you know that I am back and will work with the new mod team to ensure nothing like this happens again. Good, because nobody else is ever gonna be there to bail you out again like you burned those bridges. While, unfortunately, many of my posts discussing cultural appropriation, African traditional religions, and close practices were deleted, I can thankfully still remake the posts as they're still visible to me on my page. Amazon delivery. Okay, interruptions over. The posts that I have removed were quite specifically like really fighting with other people and like trying to attack other people for no reason whatsoever. So if their posts got removed, oh boy, if they reinstated those posts, I do hope that the people targeted actually report them for harassment, because that would actually be a report that works. If anyone has any questions or anything respectful that they would like to say, please either comment below or DM me directly so that she can report you for harassment. I still have some DMs to sort through, so please be patient with me. I'm so happy to be back, and let's keep this up amazing, guys. So one thing that I do actually like is that their moderation was all like, let's never get out of our tiny little bubble ever again. So as long as you don't step into their subreddit, you can't step on that landmine. Furthermore, they have alienated like majority of the big subs, which means that there's even moderation in place to moderate against somebody mentioning that subreddit, just to avoid pressing that landmine. But if you're ever there and you can like ever message this person, do not message this person. Because however innocent your message is, you can be reported for harassment. Because they will just act like, oh, I didn't want to receive this message. And that counts as harassment. So if you like want to keep your account, just never do anything with them ever. There's absolutely no reason. So, you know how I made like that big post? It did help like to weed out a couple of assholes. Thankfully, there were like only a couple, but there were people that were like very, very gleeful to just like jump in and express their happiness over like whatever issues that I'm having. So I don't remember. I think I've actually forgot to hide their names. Whoops. Anyway, don't send harassment the way of these people either. These comments were up publicly anyway until my co-mods removed it. But obviously they think that I did because they can't see that it was my co-mods removed it. Like you can see the co-mods avatar here. It is obviously not me. Sad days. If I was met with proper respect on your subreddit, then maybe you wouldn't have an issue. Also, you need to understand that LARPing these deities is considered flattering. That means that this person actually got like banned for LARPing from one of my subreddits at some point. Monkey see, monkey do. I made one minor offense and got permanently banned just because I said I instead of Asmodeus. This actually, like, this person identifies their Reddit as Asmodeus Demon King, and he was walking around, like, answering other people from, like, a place of authority, trying to start, like, a little cult going for, like, self-worship, and we don't tolerate that shit in the subreddits that I moderate. For one thing, new people, very impressionable. You can get them to like buy things that they don't need. You can tell them that you're gonna be their spiritual authority, and they might just listen to you. And they might start like following you around, worshiping you like you're some sort of deity, like respecting anything that you say. It's literally how cults start. I don't want to like to be to blame for like a new cult starting, so trying to do that shit, huge no-no. So yes, it's a permanent ban offense. Treat us all with respect and use that damn brain. If someone is emotionally charged about the ban, de-escalate. Oh, so that means that you got banned, and then you also swore a lot. In like mod mail, possibly threatened. No, we don't deal with that. If you're gonna throw a tantrum, other people are not gonna be like, oh, I'm so sorry, baby, did I hurt your feelings? They're gonna state that if you can't act as an adult, then you obviously don't belong in the space, and walk away. Because what else can they do? Emotions are powerful, and you don't know who's a demon's pet. Sorry, not sorry. I'm just getting what I wanted. Let's see, it made all the assholes come out to the yard. Love you, and I hope you learned your lesson. But yeah, take a good mental break and keep practicing your breathing. You'll get it. It clicked me for accident. With love, King Asmodee. Destroy your enemies from the shadows, etc. Walk in the light. P.S. I forgot you existed. I'm gonna send some good energy away and hopefully some good things start happening. Building those emotion muscles for you. I'm facing a ban here too after this, maybe. Unless you have mercy on my soul. What the shit do you think you are, my dude? I can tell you this way you're not who you think you are. Like, this whole situation, start from finish, I knew that it can like explode. I prepared a lot of like contingencies. I put them all in place. Putting out that post was one of them. So while it was a stressful situation, it's not something that came out of nowhere. It's not something that moderators didn't know might happen. It was something that was discussed that still makes those people pieces of shit. But to like come out and be like, yeah, I wanted bad things to happen to you, and like I was actively working to. Who the fuck does that? I even said to my mods, I'm not gonna touch that. I'm not gonna deal with it. Somebody else go and deal with it. Like, because these people, they're very much like super uber focused on me. So don't know if this person got a banned or not. I do know that if they had, they will be blaming me for it right now. Even though I'm not the one that's doing these moderating decisions. Oftentimes I'm not even the one doing the moderating decisions, but like people just pick me to get angry at for some really bizarre reason. This user made like 3 posts. And this was the 3rd one, because in the first few they were like, yeah, my magic works, and they're like super edgy. They're talking about like sacrificing animals and that anyone that like keeps rabbits is prey because rabbits are prey. So if you have like pets, you are prey. And I was like, what kind of logic is that? So like, what constitutes a good pet? Are you only like considered a predator, even though I don't know why you would ever want to consider yourself a predator? Kind of like sounds like you're breaking some laws, dude, that you should go to prison. But I mean, what do you do? Like, do you illegally hold tigers in your house? Is that like edgy enough for you? Like, do you cut on your own edge every single time when you look at the mirror? Like, or are all pets banned? Are you out there like stabbing tigers in your local zoo or something to just show how much of a macho alpha male you are? But they have some really, really bizarre ideas, and that person came out of the word work too. Well then, let me be plain and clear. First, I am the best resource you have for learning effective magic. That said, Myrta is a fraud. She has a personal vendetta against me. I don't even know who the fuck you are, my dude. So I used her own spirits against her. The results are obvious, and she broke down on her own subreddits. That wasn't a breaking down, that was me posting a contingency in case my account gets deleted. I don't actually want to do what my co-mod on Black Magic had to do, which is to get another guy to get my email in order to like send me an email that she got like suspended, and that's why like she's absent. That is such like stressful hoop jumping. I don't want to participate in that. Hence why, you know, I set all that up, just like sent out a message in advance in case that will happen. Thankfully, it seems that I sailed past just fine, like nothing actually happened. So yeah, Reddit drama over. It is time to speak about like my personal life, and for this I want to switch to a bigger camera, and we're gonna like come back to like staring at one thing in a little while. I'm trying to think. This is not gonna be very, very pretty because you can obviously see my green screen, and this must feel very, very trippy. So let me just the viewing angle. Screw it. You can see a bit of my room on both sides. Actually, I'm just gonna make you see a bit of my room on one side instead. There you go. You can see my altar and all of my candles right now. I am so sorry. That is the green screen. Like, I do a bit of squishing down when I'm like actually like shooting videos or have like something to show behind me. This thing is green in color. It's not actually black. It's just a wall behind me. You have seen it before. Um, so personal life updates. I have come to some realizations this year. I was born with bad health. As you can hear, I'm having tinnitus right now. I have a genetic condition. Um, a lot of things are affected. My joints are affected. My blood vessels are affected. My digestive system is affected. I had several surgeries when I was a child. I probably had brain damage when I was a child because of the surgeries, because I'm pretty sure I died on the table once. Because they were very, very happy that I could still like remember my own name when I woke up, and there was like so much stress from the doctors about it, and they didn't like even check for my long-term memory. They didn't ask me if I have any kind of memories outside of like understanding on paper about what my life is supposed to be. So I knew where I lived. I logically knew where I was. I knew who I was. I knew who my parents were. I couldn't actually remember my life. It was fucking blank. Um, so that was pretty unique, and I completely ruined my ability to make memories, which has cost me a lot of grief during my life. I, I'm not demented. I can sort of remember things. I can save new information, but a lot of like really, really important things, like my wedding, a promotion, or like whatever, like any of these like big events, they don't even save. A couple of days later from the event, it's blurry for me. I can't recall these things. So while I can learn new things, all of that really fucking hard. And I'm pretty sure that something is just wrong, and that it has been wrong ever since I had that surgery, and considered that they have completely replaced my blood, like they used 6 liters of blood that day, and that I had a giant bleed, and that I'm pretty sure I died on the operating table. Pretty sure I came back with some brain damage, and I have been dealing with that ever since. Nothing I can do about it. It was very, very hard to accept. And some of my memories did come back. And they were even harder to accept because boy, was I emotionally abused in my childhood. It's not even funny. And it's all to do with like that relative that I just like cut out from my life. And those moments like came back to me this year. And now I'm like, did I lose my memory because of the stupid surgery, or was that a trauma response that like was just really hammered in by the surgery? Because I've been through some shit as a kid. Like, I can't. When it comes to a close relative, I can't remember like a singular good thing, and like my family's gaslighting me so badly because the rest of them are like, "You're choosing not to remember." Of course, there must have been good times. You're just choosing to remember all the bads, and it's like, if I can at best remember something neutral, and I can remember a lot of shit, the kind of shit that you should never do to your child, you should never do it to a stranger, you should like never do it to a loved one, quite unhinged. Like if I'm remembering that and only that, yeah, no, I for my own mental health, for my own safety, considering that this person went on like this well into my adulthood, they went on like this until I ended contact, I'm gonna not have contact with them. But anyways, I am now going on a complete rant, but in other words, I was never healthy, and it has just gotten worse with time. And when it comes to that close blood relative, my grandmother goes, "Oh, she's complaining about the exact same things as you are." I was like, wow, it's almost like we're related and we have the same genetic condition. Amazing. I seem to be going downwards a lot faster than she ever was. But then again, at 10 years old, I needed a surgery. At 12 years old, I needed another surgery. She never needed surgery. People before her and the family tree outside of like one great grandma that died very, very early from a heart condition, they were a lot healthier. So even if some people showed symptoms of what I have, it was like never this pronounced. And it was so super pronounced in me that I needed surgeries as a child. And so my health went downhill a lot faster. A lot faster. I'm 30 now. Some people sometimes Google my age. I'm 30. And one of the things that I realized is I was being prepared for like a normal life that I could never lead. I had to get an education. I'm also gonna like show you something. This is like completely off topic, but like one of my dresses broke, and I bought these giant brooches because I'm gonna like sew and I'm gonna like try and fix it. And it used to have like this fake belt, and like this fake belt. Come on, me, I can get brooches through a bit of fabric, can't I? Yes, I can. Um, this this fake belt, it was plastic and it broke and it was part of the dress, so I had to like take it out. The dress also had like some wear. It was obviously dyed before it was sent to me, so some of the dye wore off, so I had to like re-dye it. I bought these brooches to replace the giant ass fake belt, and I bought some material in order to make a new belt to put on. And I'm thinking I'm just like gonna use these brooches separately, so they're gonna be like separate from the belt on my dress so that I don't need to put them like through water. But yeah, I bought these things and I wanted to show you because they were lying in front of me, and that is a lot nicer topic. So, you know, sometimes I just want to talk about something nice. This is the something nice. And then it's like not looking very flattering because it just stuck them on wherever I can like pretend that they're like right here where like this hoodie ends. So yeah, I can be like, yeah, they're like here to put on the hoodie under the dress. But no, they're just here because I wanted to show it off and because it's a much more pleasant topic. Anyway, I've been my relatives prepared me to lead a normal life. One that I actually can't physically lead. By this point, my neck is uber crooked, and it's making my migraines worse. But it's not like considered a necessary surgery. I have complete like blood vessel failures where my left foot it really expands and swells because my heart is just not really wanting to pump that blood. So I'm slightly lopsided. My neck is lopsided. My joints had started failing me completely this year. I had to get like a lot of equipment to just continue playing video games. Um, I'm having migraines on average 2 weeks a month. It's to do with hormones. They are making my health considerably worse. And the fact that I also have a crooked neck that I can't like surgically fix because that is not something the doctors would ever consent to touch because well, they go, oh, it's you don't need it. Your neck is not literally like snapping off like your spine, so it would be cosmetic only. If it wouldn't be, it would help me retain whatever blood flow I have and, you know, maybe stay healthier for longer. And secondly, of course, neck is such a sensitive place. You can accidentally kill somebody on the operating table very, very easily. So unless they have to, they won't touch that with like a 10-foot pole. And that's fair. So that is something that they're not gonna touch. But me having inherited hormonal migraines and having all of these now heart issues and like having all of these joint issues that are much worse, I had to have like cut out all stress out of my life. So I can't even like play any games that are like remotely stressful. If I was gonna play Dark Souls, and I'm very, very tempted to play Dark Souls, I'm just gonna keep it chill. But horror games where like ooga ooga booga it just jumps out at you, or like really, really stressful roguelikes. I used to really, really like roguelikes. Now I can only play certain ones. Like I can't play Ziggurat, and I used to love playing Ziggurat because it raises my blood pressure. I don't want to know what's gonna happen if my blood pressure stays too high for too long. So I have all of these problems and they're getting worse. Having 2 weeks out of a month being lost to like a migraine, or having to lay really, really low so that that migraine does not begin, does not go well with just like living a normal life. I am unemployable and I'm really, really suffering for it. So I've done all that I can. All that I can. I'm like, okay, what can I do on the side? I submitted an article today to like a newspaper. I can't tell you about it because they're protecting my identity. So this is just like an FYI. They're gonna like pay me £120 for that. This is not something that I can do on the regular. I don't have a journalist degree. I'm not hired for it. They allowed submissions from people that don't have education for it. I wrote books. I put my books on Amazon. Whenever I can, I do that. I worked a moderating job 4 hours a day, as long as I could, but they fired me, and I can't find anything that's remotely close to that. I do tarot readings. I can maybe get £400 a month in total on that. My expenses are like, if I really, really, really squelch it, like really, really squelch it down, £1,200 a month. I can make maybe half of that. If I'm lucky, I can make like £700. If I'm really, that's a month. And I'm honestly running out of options. I'm running out of options of what I can do to stay afloat. So I don't know what's gonna happen in the future. I'm just gonna throw up my hands and I'm gonna say, I don't know what's gonna happen in the future. It is definitely something that's very, very stressful for me. It's definitely something that's affecting my health. So poverty is kind of feeding into the reason why I'm poor to begin with, which is the reason why I just have a body that is collapsing literally on top of me. I'm taking it one day at a time. Because of that, because I can do fuck all about it, I did decide to take my YouTube fairly seriously, and we're gonna talk about that in a second, but let's switch back to the small cam in the corner. Yay, you can see two of Mia's at the moment. How awesome, isn't it? Because I'm gonna show you a review, and I'm gonna take out these brooches because I already showed it off on the big camera. I really, really like them. I hope that I can fix my dress. And the reason why I was even buying like new clothes, because my clothes were literally like falling apart. These times I tried buying like natural materials that can hold. I ended up knowing how to sew out of necessity. I fix my clothes. When they start falling apart, I start patching them up. Whatever happens, I fix that because I can't afford to be in fast fashion. My closet was always slow fashion. It still is. So I replaced that. Hopefully it's gonna last. I'm gonna be fixing one of the new dresses by hand. That's why I have these. These things are like £4 on Amazon, by the way. I was really surprised that you can get like super big metal thingies that look like a bit like a fake belt buckle, which is what I needed, and that's how I'm gonna use them. I'm really, really stoked about it. But anyway, I'm gonna show you something. It's a review that I got on one of my books. Mind you, the book that I got the review on, it was a dictionary. So it's not even like how to work with spirits book, but it's something that I actually get quite a lot from quite a few people, and I always hate that it's whenever it happens. So let me just read it up. Do not be led astray. It is highly unlikely that the author has ever contacted any goetic demon and lacks true experience. Author does not advocate for high levels of protection, right? She has never had to use protection against entities. Huge red flags, which means any entity can come in, disguise itself, and eventually wreak havoc in your life. In spirit work, you need extreme protection or your life will become a mess, just like the author's life. Like, you can, my man, you can pray to God, you can pray to Odin, You don't need to, like, I don't know, encase yourself in the box just in case, like, your prayer goes wrong somehow. What do you expect that to do? This is spirituality. And you're leaving a review on a dictionary, by the way. Always look at the life of anyone you're learning from and taking advice from. If that person does not have the life that you want, do not take their advice. Fuck me for being poor. For an occultist to disregard the importance of protection is highly irresponsible and only speaks to the lack of their experience. Fuck me for having a different spiritual belief than this person. This person literally is so paranoid that they wouldn't even pray without, I don't know, drawing a geometric shape and thinking that that does something. Into whose hands are you trusting your life with? Do you want to be another victim? Questions to ask yourself before you consider this book. For anyone who says, I don't see anything wrong with this book, I don't understand, this shows your own lack of discernment. Take a look objectively. Don't listen to words but look at results. What do you see? Is this a person you truly want to mimic? Let me help you, my audience. If you're already alive, you cannot be born with the condition that I was born with. Because you're already here. I was fucked from the day I entered this world. And I had suffered with my small disabilities that honestly at one point even counted as disabilities in this country. At another point they got downgraded because nobody wants to give anyone disability allowance. But anyway, I have suffered with those things for all of my life. I was taught to hide it. By this point I'm falling far apart enough that I can't hide it. But once again, so are my relatives, except that they're falling apart at about the age of 50. I'm falling apart at about the age of 30. But they did not need surgeries at the age of 10. I needed surgeries at the age of 10. I inherited what they have. Except at a higher degree. It is one of the reasons why I'm not having children. Well, besides not being able to afford them. But I can't afford children because I'm physically fucked. I can't hold a normal job because I am physically fucked. Can't create a normal family because I am physically fucked. It really, really stems from the day I was born. So don't worry, you actually can't copy my life because you're already alive. So that is like physically impossible. Yay! And don't worry, no dictionary is gonna bite your head off, you fucking weirdo. Anyway, so yeah, fuck me, I guess. I can't even make money from book writing because there will be these kind of people that will come in and be like, your book sucks because you're not rich or healthy. And it's like, well, screw me from not being born healthy and screw me from not having the physical health to be rich. And I suppose also for being spiritual, because like I could be a poor atheist and you wouldn't give a shit, but because I am a poor spiritual person, you need to drag me to the floor for some reason. Like you expect that, what, do you expect that if you change what kind of sky daddy you pray to, you're somehow like gonna step out one day and you're like gonna be perfectly healthy with like a perfectly good life? Is that what you expect to happen? So anyway, I don't know why I switched this camera. I kind of like being a bit more personal. Actually, if I had money, I put a 300-pound camera into my wish list on Amazon because if I'm just like sitting here talking with you and I then play it back on YouTube, it's a bit grainy. This is 1080p. Normally people have like proper camcorders. I can never afford like a proper camcorder. There are now 300-pound 4K cameras that look so crisp. They probably don't deal with movement very well, but it is not like I'm running around and jumping around everywhere. I don't move all that much anyway. If I had money, man, it is something that I would like to have, but at the moment I am really uncertain about whether I'll have some place to live in a year or two. I am very fortunate to have savings that I'm draining very, very slowly. I had a good work situation after graduation for a little bit, for like a year and a half. Unfortunately, they were making me do like 90 hours a week. It was really, really shitty hours. It was software development. It probably really, really contributed to everything that I'm experiencing right now. One thing that I needed to know when I was younger was that I'm not gonna be normal, that I'm not gonna be healthy, and that I should take it very, very carefully and very, very slowly. And I really, really should have planned my life around it. But I was so pushed into that perseverance. Like, my family would have never accepted if I haven't gotten a degree. My family would have never accepted if I didn't go into a full-time job. My family never accepted if I wouldn't have never pushed for a career. And at this point, there are the family members that I still contact, they're a lot gentler to me because now the questions about my life, they're not even like asking me, where's my career? Why am I not getting a full-time job? They're now asking me, did I have food this week? Am I eating? Am I taking care of myself? Did I still find something to... I'm sorry, I'm gonna start crying. I'm trying not to, but it's nice questions for the most part. Did I find something happy to be happy about? Because this deterioration, I'm not keeping it secret. You know, and I'm holding out pretty okay. It's just that no position would ever like accept if I was like taking 2 weeks off because I'm having a big migraine with part-time shenanigans like writing and tarot readings. I can dictate my own hours. I can find the time where I'm okay to do these things. So it's not like I absolutely can't do anything. It's just that it is very, very hard because I don't fit into the regular everyday life that I was trained for and that I was pushed upon me so much, and that really, really broke me in my early to mid 20s. It has done irreparable damage. I wish I couldn't do those things, but those things are also partly why I have savings right now and why I'm still not homeless. So, it's life, man. And it's very, very, very hard. So, what I do have, I'm trying to do well. So, I have this YouTube. I know that it sounds really, really silly after 14 years on YouTube to actually expect anything of it. But I'm trying because what else am I supposed to do? I'm trying everything that I can, and I gotta tell you, it feels very, very shitty when you're lacking the stability and all you can think of is how you would love to be stable and what else you can do to be stable. It starts like really consuming a lot of your brain. And the fact that I'm unstable, once again, it's stress and it's probably contributing to my health deterioration. So I have this YouTube. I decided to take it seriously. The games that I do, I research what views I might expect from them now. I'm trying to keep consistent on my streaming. I try to foster a positive and nice community that people might want to be in. I am sorry if I was falling apart in Daggerfall streams at some point, or like expressing personal grievances, using it as a place to vent, because that game is like really, really heavy on dungeoneering and shit like that. It's very, very repetitive, so I kind of used it as my personal soapbox. Nobody has called me out on it yet. I'm trying to just bring good vibes. I'm trying to be somebody that people could watch and relax instead of like make them feel even worse. Because a lot of people are going through shit right now. It's not just me. So I try to make it fun. That's, and I try to have fun. So yeah, I'm trying to be a channel that could be watched and maybe could grow, even though after 14 years on YouTube, it's very, very, very unlikely. But any anything that I can squeeze out of it, it might seriously help at the moment. And in a way, I feel dirty because in a way, this channel kind of encompasses what I am and what I was and what I went through in my life and how I grew up from it. Like, it has a lot of Let's Plays, it has a lot of interactions, it has a teenage me on here, for one thing. It has a lot of me, and I didn't really care about views and all that much. I cared being happy about what I do, but when you get really, really desperate for money, you push any avenue that you can. And I'm running out of avenues, so I'm pushing this one as well. And I feel honestly bad about it because it is my space that I could just feel happy in, that I did it because I really liked it. I don't want that to change. But now I'm thinking about it. I'm thinking about it hard, and I'm thinking about what I'm uploading and what I'm putting out and how to best organize it. And you know how I'm currently playing the tabletop? It's something that I'm uploading for preservation's sake. It's something that I might want to look back on because it is something that I really enjoy. It is something that I'm doing with my friends. But at the same time, it doesn't net good views. And I hate that I'm in a position where I notice it. I really do, because I'm very much planning around it now. So yeah, I'm gonna show you something, right? So I'm gonna like switch to the small camera again. Yay! I really like my setup on OBS, by the way. Anyway, I don't know who's still here this far into the video, but if you are, thank you. Hopefully somebody's gonna hear it. If not, I guess that's fine too, but it's gonna be here so for posterity's sake. I'm gonna show you what my views were like 2 years ago, 2022. It's June. I am still working my 4 hours a day moderator job. I'm just about getting by. It was hard, but I was getting by. I was using this channel the way that I wanted to use it. Tarot was part of my life before. I wanted to say goodbye to it. So every single like day until it shut down, I streamed it for like a couple of months. I did the full leveling process. Nobody watched it. Nobody was interested in it. Like, you can see my views being 15, 26, 25. Very obviously, I'm doing this because I am passionate about it. I'm doing this because it is important to me, not because somebody else might see it. And I feel free to do this because I am still in a position that's kind of shitty, but stable enough. We can get by. I started taking YouTube seriously. These are the views from like, what, the past couple of weeks. I literally just went on and screenshotted the top of my channel. I was doing Morrowind. Morrowind was doing very, very well. When I come back to doing Bloodlines, I'll actually need to see if I can mod music, because videos that are not restricted when it comes to like monetization do better on YouTube than videos that are restricted. So like, you can see that Daggerfall Part 4 had like 353 views. Daggerfall Part 5 limited monetization because of ad suitability, because there was a naked lady on the screen for not a lot of time. 120 views. So yeah, and that does mean to me. I am only earning like $18 from YouTube currently a month. I'm actively trying to change that, because I am in the position where I kind of have to push any avenue that I have, including this. So I want to take it seriously. I know that it is absolutely delusional to be thinking that way, but I want to take it seriously. That's what I'm doing. That's how I'm selecting games. So I am obviously doing a lot better than I was doing 2 years ago. Obviously, what I'm doing currently with game selection and everything is working. I'm getting something like 100 subs a month, which is amazing. It is not something that I've ever experienced. If I was experiencing it for all my 14 years on YouTube, I would have a lot more than 8,000 subscribers. So like you can see the difference, and I'm trying to be very, very careful in the kind of games that I select and I play. But this leads me to a bit of a conundrum. My YouTube is mixed, so that's like strike one against me. I've seen other mixed YouTubes that also did something that you wouldn't expect them to do, like Lazy Game Reviewer was doing empty house exploration at one point, which obviously is completely different than regular like vintage tech, but he was fine with it. So I'm doing occult, and on the other hand, I'm doing gaming, and these categories, they can very much be a turnoff for like each person, but at the same time, I don't want to like rip the channel into two, because that is risky. That might really not work out. So it's a weird place on YouTube. So that's already a strike against me. And secondly, when I'm doing gaming, I am a variety channel, and you're gonna see channels that sit on the same game for years. It's the only thing that their channel does. There's the Sims 4 channels, there's RuneScape channels, there's Skyrim challenges channels, there's Morrowind channels, and sometimes they will be brave enough and they're gonna go into a game that's like similar enough. They're like gonna hit Oblivion or something. But they will sit on that one thing, and no matter how sick they get off it, they're never gonna tell their audience that they're sick of it. They're never gonna tell their audience that they're not enjoying this, because this is a job, and putting on the face is just part of the job. Change is scary. That's why with like life simulators, a lot of the Sims influencers are very against other life simulators coming out that might break up their audience. They might need to think of things to do and think of, what they should be doing and what's the best thing to do for the channel. It's hard, especially if you're like the Sims 4 influencer and this is what you were doing for like the last 10 years and this is how you make your money. So yeah, and majority of the channels on YouTube, they're gonna be that unless they're very, very big. If they're very, very big, nobody gives a shit what you're doing anymore. Like, you have your own audience, you do what you want. And oh boy, do people abuse that freedom. So there's even a saying on YouTube that you should be a specialty channel until you become big. Then you can live your dreams. Then you can do what you want. But obviously this was never a job for me. This was a hobby for me. So this channel is just me encapsulated. When I'm not here, and hopefully I go later than YouTube does. Like, I hope I don't just like decompose into a puddle and die in the next few years. That wouldn't be fun. I'm in my 30s. There's nothing that tells me that I am gonna do that. My relatives are still alive. They are a better state than I am because they inherited this thing at a lesser degree. And they have had like death scares before, to a point where they were effectively dictating to me their will, which included me to take over raising my little sister. There has been some very dramatic conversations that I had before. But they're still alive, so nothing tells me that I'm just gonna pop off. It's just that it's been such a roller coaster ride downwards that I'm also kind of prepared to if I do. if I degrade to such a point that, you know, my heart stops working or I'm having aneurysms with my migraines because I started having ringing in my ears. I started having blood pressure problems. I started having like leg problems. It's important organs that are going away. So if I go before YouTube does, heaven forbid, we're planning on living a long life here, even though it's hard. Um, this channel would encapsulate what I was as a person. Um, it would be me on display in a way. I grew up with it. I spent my turbulent 20s with it. I'm still with it. It's 14 years, man. Hopefully it continues going. Maybe it will preserve 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. You don't know. Obviously YouTube might also just go down one day, but up until then, it's obvious this wasn't a career. This was an encapsulation of me at a time. And that's something that I can still revisit, and that's something that I can see, and that's something that I can still analyze about the way that I thought at the time, the way that I looked at the time, my hopes, my dreams. I'm not saying that I don't have those. I have quite a lot of those actually. They might have shrunk quite significantly, but I am legitimately finding things that grant me so much joy. It's just that life is so not stable, and I need to figure out what to do with my disabled ass in order to get the stability that I need. And I'm doing everything. That's just what I'm doing. But it's very obvious that my YouTube was never structured as a business. It was structured as a person making videos. So now I'm putting on all of that thought in. I'm like, okay, after I do Daggerfall, then what? I am a variety channel. Arena? News might sort of still transfer to Arena. Of course, a lot less people are searching for Arena on YouTube, but it might perform well long term, especially if there's not a lot of other playthroughs of Arena. I'm putting in all of that search. Like, I'm going, okay, what is Grimmeth doing? What is he getting views on? And he will be doing like a lot of really, really old and obscure games. But that's the thing, if you're close to the only channel that does these things, even if the search volume is not high, people are gonna find you because somebody's gonna look up what you're doing, and you're gonna be one of the few channels that did do it. So they're gonna see, and they're gonna click into it, and maybe they're gonna like continue watching. You never know. It might happen. So what else is popular on YouTube? And I was like, okay, Stardew Valley seems to perform really well even for accounts with no subscriptions. Dark Souls seems to always be welcomed. Arena, I can do Arena. Bloodlines, I can revisit Bloodlines this year. And then like I'm sitting here and I'm going, I really miss The Sims 2. I really do. And I genuinely want to revisit an interactive The Sims 2 Let's Play, except that it would be done the way that I'm doing things here now. It would probably be a legacy again, it would probably be in Strange Town. I would try to marry townies only, and I think that would be fun. I would pick a comment every single stream that I would like pivot my stream to. Whatever it is, whether it's to like take your Sims out or rebuild the house or focus on this or not focus on that, you know, the way that I used to do my interactive The Sims 2. And I'm also gonna like take in Twitch chat suggestions because this would be streamed, so people might be able to like, you know, drop by and it might be a fun event. But here it is. Here I am sitting and I'm going, doing a Sims 2 Legacy Challenge for 10th generation is a massive hour investment. I don't know how many months it would take me to finish that. I don't know whether the audience that watched Daggerfall and Morrowind would then sit down and watch a game as girly as The Sims 2. And then I don't know if the audience that I made on The Sims 2 would sit down and watch whatever comes afterwards, especially if I slot in Dark Souls right afterwards. You see where the problem lies. Not only am I not like considering my own personal desires now, I am thinking, where does this channel fit in? And it's so awkward because I am trying to like bring growth. And frankly, I don't know what the fuck am I doing because obviously I wasn't born with any kind of business sense. If I did, I wouldn't give out my books for free. That is for certain. I've seen people milking their audience unapologetically, and I can't do that. Like, I have a Patreon and it's just like tucked behind somewhere because I don't want to shout it out. I have a tarot shop and I don't tend to like shamelessly promote it over the subreddits that I moderate. I have books and I also have links to them for free, and whenever anybody asks, I always give them the free link. Because that's the kind of person that I obviously I wasn't born with business sense. That's probably why I'm poor. I'm like, I can't change. It's just the way that I am. So I'm sitting and I'm having like these conundrums. One sort of thing that I arrived at is that I could stream one thing on one day and another thing on another day. And I'm not gonna add more streams to my schedule because that would be overkill. Who has time to watch more than 6 hours of content a week? Probably nobody. I mean, I do. I watch quite a lot of YouTube, but that's because of my situation. I am poor, and I do things on the side, and I get migraines often, and I hate doing nothing when I have migraines, so sometimes I listen to videos, because that's how I am. So there is one compromise where it could be like, okay, we can do Sims on one day, like something nice and cute and warm and cozy, and then we can do something really edgy and extreme like Dark Souls on another day. And then I'm like, how will that mix? So it's like decisions. And I know that a lot of people just wanna like come in and be like, do what you want. Do what you want. I've been doing that for 14 years. It does not growth make. But in those 14 years, I wasn't trying to make money off this. I was trying to do all my damnness to be a nice and respectable person that fits into the society and works a proper job. It's just that it's not no longer really a possibility. It would be really, really hard to make it happen. In all truthfulness, I could probably make it happen. Even with my migraines, I could force myself, but A, my work would be poor, and B, I would probably literally kill myself. Like, add a bit of more stress on this, and I will probably pop something. And that doesn't alive make. That doesn't living constitute. So, you know, I rather not have an aneurysm. I'd rather not get seriously disabled where I can't like even like move half of my body or comprehend where I am anymore. And I would like to live longer than a couple years. That's why that is not an option. And that is not an option that I'm pursuing. I'm trying to do everything else in my power, and I wasn't made for this. That's all that I can say. So that's how it's going. If you want to give advice or tips or have a conversation in the comment section down below, feel free to do so. I'm gonna ask a couple of things. I'm gonna ask that you're not trying to give me medical advice. That won't end very well. I know that a lot of people want to help, but medical advice tends to come from like doctors, and this is something genetic. It is not something that I can fix. Licking a jar of beetroot or eating specific vitamins ain't gonna fix me. My family is already trying really, really, really sincerely with that direction. They really only wish the best. You can't fix genetic issues with a bottle of vitamins. That's never gonna happen. It's just not the way that it is. I'm gonna ask you a second thing. Please don't shame me. As you could see previously from that little nice review that I read to you, I receive enough of that for just being alive. It is not something that I enjoy. I have learned to not to take it personally, to not even let me affect me one bit, because it isn't from a close person. It just passes through. Granted, my close people have been not great. Let's just say it like that. Like, some of my close people are fantastic people as people, but they're kind of in the same boat as me. Like my husband, he's also not doing great. Um, some of my close people, let's say that they came from like a different place with different expectations that they applied to me. I grew up in an environment where appearances were very, very, very important. And I had all of these problems. And they had their own problems and their own nerves, and they took it out on me most of the time because I didn't fit the expectation. And I tried so hard. I tried so hard to arrange my life in a way that fits their expectation. I failed. I miserably failed. Now, at this point, that failure is no longer being rubbed into me because the people that I stayed in contact just actually realized how serious things are. So they're no longer that kind of person. But I grew up with a lot of that. I grew up a lot with very, very strict expectations as to what I'm supposed to be when I'm an adult, and I failed to meet them. Well, for one thing, I'm 30 and I'm going into minors, so obviously I didn't achieve the financial security that I was supposed to achieve. I don't have a full-time job. That was something that I was supposed to have. I don't have kids. That was something that I was supposed to have. I live in an apartment. Apparently, the people, my people, wanted me to live in the house. I could never afford that. I live in a not great neighborhood. There is a lot of crime here. There is a lot of police here. It isn't very safe most of the time. I have to sometimes continuously explain that to my family because they kind of expect me to live a middle class or higher middle class life, and that is entirely incompatible with my health and with my ability to bring in income of any kind. So that's just not happening. I effectively was raised for a completely different life than I am living. And in a way, let's just say that nobody else did the things to me to make me end up in the situation that I ended up with, so it is my fault. But at the same time, the reason why I'm like this is because of what I was born with. And it's just that it hasn't really like gone into the heads of people until I got bad enough. Like, they thought that it could be an invisible disability that can be ignored and put down. So in that way, it is not my fault. There's nothing else that I could have done. So yeah, that's how it is. Life is funny somehow sometimes. And I really wanted to rant because I thought, maybe if somebody's looking at this for this amount of time, they might be able to, I don't know, give me YouTube advice to tell me what's poppin'. Direct me to the kind of things that I should be playing. Really, if you have watched for this long, I'm thankful for you. This has been a rant with no direction. I am not gonna produce another one. I don't tend to make like monthly channel updates where I go, okay, this is what I wanted to reach. I fell short. Why did I fall short? This is not the kind of military environment. I just want to bring good vibes. And honestly, I just want to have fun myself. So Even though I'm thinking a lot more thinky thoughts right now, because that is where we are, and that is what I have to do. Outside of that, I'm still here to be bubbly me. I'm still here to enjoy my time. I'm still here because I want to be here. Nobody's like forcing me to be here. Hello, cat. So yeah, and I'm just gonna continue going, and I don't know what the future holds, but I'm just gonna continue going. So I would appreciate if that is not held against me. And if you have like any tips or suggestions or wants or anything, blah 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 blah, you know, feel free to shoot them all down the comment section. I suppose. I do know that some people like really they do feel bad when they hear something like this, and they're like, oh, I really really like want to support you and everything, but they like um they can't. Please don't feel bad. A lot of people are in a very very bad position. As I said, I am lucky that I still have that safety net that it can honestly last for a while going into a minus. I can probably a few years. This Sometimes my relatives still give me gifts. I haven't spoken to my dad in a very, very long time because I was told that that contact is not wanted. But he has just sent me like a random gift at one point for my birthday and like for a month after. And he was like, this is just for you. So it's not even like that bank statement is like, I'm thinking like, oh, maybe I still have, if I'm budgeting this correctly, I might have like a year before I really, really, really need to think what to do. It might be a bit longer, but on the other hand, it can be shorter. I don't have a tooth anymore. That's something that happened this year as well. I may as well like turn on this camera again. I know that's very, very weird whenever I'm switching this around. Wrong side, wrong side. Yeah. Just go on. Is it wrong side? No, it is this one. Here. It is another thing that I was like taught that I'm never allowed to lose teeth. It's improper and impolite, and your jaw structure will fall apart because you're no longer using the muscles to bite, which means that like the skin will sag and like it won't look good, and then nobody will hire you. Like I was really fear-mongered about that point, and I never had good teeth because genetics. It's still the same condition, still counts here. My teeth were not solid for a very very long time. Like the enamel, the thing right around it was like solid, but whenever like they would drill into the tooth was like porridge. So I had a lot of trouble with that. I had quite a few root canals done when I was a child, and when you have root canals done, it's a dead tooth. What they can then do is they can put a crown on it. Well, first of all, by the way, guys, crowns are very, very, very expensive. They're like 500 pounds each. So having crowns done is expensive. But the crowns are only supposed to last like 5 to 10 years at the maximum. Most crowns will like fall off at some point. And by this point, you don't even have like a functional tooth, you have a stub. So what you're then supposed to progress to is implants. And you want to like put that off as much as possible. You have to drill implants into your head. They cannot take, by the way. You can have surgical complications because it is literally like a metal bit, like a screw, that they drive straight into your jawbone, and then they mount the new tooth on top of that. My grandfather had a couple of implants done that didn't take. But then he just lost and had to be like taken out. Implants are about 3,500 pounds per 3,500 pounds per tooth. So even if I wanted to risk surgery complications, which with my health is a very, very, very bad idea, so I was against on that alone. I don't have the money to have teeth. That is the truth. Because, like, if I just needed, like, some holes filled, that's a lot cheaper. But when I start needing implants, that is very, very, very I don't have that kind of money. I need that kind of money in order to be able to live month to month. Like, I can't just invest it into tooth. So this year I had failed another expectation, something that was drilled into my head when I was young. You can never lose teeth. You have to have a perfect smile so that you're hireable and you're socially acceptable and so that people like you. And I started losing teeth. And it will likely continue. I hope not. But, like, I need a dentist to see the dentist, like, at least once a year. I don't know how that's gonna go because, well, money go tight. So, on one hand, sometimes relatives give me a gift, which prolongs the amount of time that I have. On the other hand, accidents and bad things happen in my life too. So just like, I can just lose teeth. Like, nothing contributes to me losing the teeth. It's just the teeth that have outlived their maximum lifespan because some of these teeth, I had their nerves removed before I even hit the age of 18. Like, I had the nerves removed at like 14. So they're dead teeth that don't hold because, yeah, dead teeth don't hold for forever. So some of them got crowned, but the crown clock is also like ticking. Crowns are not like a permanent thing that you can just keep for forever. And, like, I know that the tooth that's right next to that tooth, it has a lot of problems. And they told me to, like, don't chew with that side if I can, because that is another crown that I can lose. And if I lose that crown, even if I find 500 pounds to recrown, yeah, I'm just losing the tooth. And the more tooth I lose, the less teeth I have. Like, basic math. And that makes chewing hard. And that makes eating solid foods hard. That is definitely not a good thing. So, yeah. On one hand, I sometimes get gift. On the other hand, I also, bad shit sometimes also happens. So that is another thing to, keep financially in mind. It is, apparently it's not like cheap to be ill. Who would have thunk? I feel like if somebody, like, raised me with this mentality, I know that sounds really, really awful, but if somebody, like, raised me with an more of a realistic view of what my life is gonna be, I would at least be emotionally a lot more prepared for this. And I feel like I'm handling it okay by this point, but yeah. I'm not gonna be updating you month to month. I don't know I don't know what's gonna happen in the future, but it's probably gonna be okay. It's been okay so far. Nothing in my past says that it's not gonna be okay, but it's gonna be hard because life is hard, and it's sometimes is the way that it is. So if you can, like, give me advice on, like, YouTube and stuff, or, like, tell me what you want to see, and cool, let's have a good time. Otherwise, I don't know. Maybe I'll get an inheritance. maybe I'm gonna get a gift. Maybe my YouTube picks up. Maybe something happens. You never know how life is gonna go. Like, I'm trying not to be too stressed about it. I hate that I am, and I hate that it's influencing my health. And I hate that I'm 30 and I don't know how to make money because nobody prepared me to live by being disabled. They prepared me to be a completely able-bodied adult that hides everything that's wrong with me, and that hasn't even worked out for the close relatives to me that are older than me because they didn't reach retirement age. And they're also spinning their own little businesses, but they fell apart a lot later than me. They're falling apart now. They stopped, like, good, proper full-time employment in, like, their late 30s. I stopped good, proper employment at, like, my mid-20s, and they're falling apart in their 50s. I am very seriously falling apart in my 30s. Like, early 30s on top of that. It's just potato, potato. It is how it is. So, yeah. If you're still here, I don't know why. Thank you for listening to this rant. Guess I just really, really, really wanted to talk about it. I might get a near full from my non-supportive relatives that I'm oversharing again. I try not to. But once the relative that I had cut down contact with found a video about me sharing on the internet about the genetic condition that I got diagnosed with and how I was feeling about that. And I got an earful about that, going, you're not supposed to be this public online. I'm not supposed to be finding these things, and yada 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 yada. There was a lot of talking. That was like a drama as well. So I am kind of oversharing, but I think that's fine. I'm probably not going anywhere for like the next few years. So like don't be overly worried, and I'm definitely not like doing like monthly updates of like, hey, how am I doing? If like I'm starting to do like significantly better, like I don't know, we hit 1 million subscribers, I think you'll know. Or like if I become a best-selling author, like yeah, I'm gonna share that. I'm gonna shameless. But until then, we're just gonna like hobble along forwards. And could you like please at least not hold that against me, because my life is hard enough as it is. So like no comments of like, oh, I would purchase her book, but she is not living the life that I want her to live. That is a really bizarro statement. I suppose that just really didn't go down well to me. So, I've been trying to say goodbye for the longest time now, so that's enough. I'm gonna see you at Daggerfall in like the upcoming week. And one of my Daggerfall streams the week afterwards, instead of being on like a Saturday, it will probably be Monday and Thursday. Because I am doing a dungeon run a day, and I don't actually know how else to squeeze them into that Saturday. I'm already doing quite a lot of things on the Saturday, because it's gonna be a dungeon week on Guild Wars 2, where all the rewards and dungeons double, which means that they're actually done, because they haven't been done for a very, very long time. I am so excited to revisit all of them, and I'm doing it with the guild that I love, with all the people that are really, really nice to me. That community is honestly godsend for my mental health. I am looking forward to so many things, and it really, really like brightens my day and keeps me going. There are so many nice things in my life, like my cats. I have a cat on my desk right now, and he's asleep, and he's such a pleasant little old bumble. My husband is a very, very nice man. I get to go outside every single week, and I take pictures when I do it. I have a lot of nature around. It's very, very nice. I do drawing sometimes to reduce mental stress. I still have paints. I bought them a while ago. I thought, well, you're still here. I did like this flower. The practically the last time when I had a migraine. I also have like a tree with eyeballs that's just hanging on my wall right now. So that's another thing. It's the kind of things that bring me joy. They bring me a lot of joy. So weirdly enough, I'm not depressed. I am actually a really, really happy person. It's just that I am also a really, really stressed person. Part of it is probably because I'm leaning into anxiousness anyway, and part of it because life sucks. So, I'm trying my best here. So, if you're still here, you get a cookie. And hopefully I'm gonna see you on my Daggerfall streams, and I hope that I have relayed to you in this video that this week is gonna be Thursday and Saturday for streaming, and next week it's gonna be Monday and Thursday. I'm pretty sure I did. Anyway. Yeah. Lots of things to do, lots of things to see, happy things, and we're gonna continue wobbling along. Thank you for watching this video. Feel free to comment. All engagement drives engagement on YouTube. The more you engage with things, the more the creator receives when it comes to like attention and shit. So I like engagement. If you want to share your own votes, feel free. If you want to tell people that you're still here at the 2 hour mark, feel free. If you just want to say first, feel free. And I'm gonna see you later. I still don't know what I'm gonna do with my channel. It is really, there's a large chance that at some point I will end up doing two very thematically opposite games at the same time. And it's gonna be crazy. But yeah, it's fun. Anyway, thank you for being here. I'm gonna see you in my other videos. Don't worry about me too much. But I'm happy that I did this video because I got to like just get a whole bunch of things off my chest that I normally don't because I'm told to be very private. So I try to. And I try to be happy in front of other people and to like not overburden you. That's another thing. I don't like to burden other people. It's not the kind of person that I am. So yeah. Actually gonna press the stop recording button now. Bye.